So this semester in school I'm taking psychology. One of the topics that were brought up in our human diversity issues was heterosexism. Essentially, my professor goes on to say that the heterosexism, or the belief that everyone is born to be straight, is what perpetuates homophobia and essentially heterophobia. Me being me and full of questions all the time, I asked him, does this affect asexual individuals and how would it fit into it? Apparently that was the wrong question to ask. He responded in a generally not so nice manner. He continued to assert that no one harasses people who don't have sex, and it was very much so the emphasis on don't have sex. I don't want to make this about him, so I'm not going to go into the rest of the experience or my email correspondence. The assertion of the don't have sex portion kind of leads me to believe that not very many people, even community psychologists, know the difference between asexuality and celibacy. Being asexual is not just not having sex. I consider myself an asexual individual, and with that, it's not a celibate choice. Celibacy is a choice to just not have sex. Any person of any sexual orientation can choose to be celibate, whether it's for religious reasons, health reasons, or just personal reasons. Anyone can choose to be celibate. Being without a sexuality or a sexual desire is different. That is the definition of asexuality. For those of you who don't know your English language very well, the prefix of a connected to a word means not or without, therefore atheist without a theist, atypical, not typical, acellular without a cell. It's a very simple concept. Asexuality without a sexuality, or lacking a sexual desire, not just not having sex. There's a huge distinction between the two, and that's something that generally gets lost, especially in a society that's brought up so heavily on having a sexuality, whether it's heterosexual or homosexual or bisexual, pretty much brought into your head all the time that you need to have a sexuality, and it's a little bit frustrating and unnerving for asexual individuals, at least in my experience for me. I've had a few things that were very rudely asserted at me for being asexual. One of them is the manner in which I dress. I'm not exactly the most modest person on the face of the planet. I do like my low-cut shirts, and I do like my shorts that are pretty much glorified underwear. That being said, me wearing that stuff doesn't have anything to do with my sexual preferences. I wear that stuff because I like it. Assuming that because I'm wearing provocative clothing that I am a sexual being and I'm sexually attracted to people, and I especially get that when I get sexual advances from men on the street or in the club. I mean, I understand, great, you think I'm cute, that's nice, but when I politely turn you down and I get told that I'm a stuck-up bitch, or that, I just need to experience a real man because I'm not sexually attracted to you, that's the type of stress and the type of culture that we live in. And it's not just males, I get that occasionally, not as much from females, but I have. And it's that assertion that's so absolutely ridiculous. Because no, me turning you down does not mean that I'm a stuck-up bitch. It means that I'm not responsive to it, and I don't really want it. I'm flattered the first time. If you take the hit, good. I usually try to let people down nice. But if you start harassing me and saying horrible things because I turned you down, what does that accomplish? Nothing. And being an early 20s female that does dress provocatively, I get that often. And that's the type of culture that I have to live in and deal with every day, of being called a stuck-up snotty bitch because I'm not going to give some random guy off the street my number. Or because even if I have a great conversation with someone, that I'm not going to sleep with them. One thing that I always love getting asked is, why do you dress so feminine and so provocative if you're asexual and you don't want sex and you're not attracted to anyone? And so also like saying that all lesbians are bitch dykes and all gay men are flamers. It just doesn't happen. I dress how I want to dress and I wear what I like because I like it. I like the way I look when I have my cleavage shirts and my booty shorts on. Not really doing it to try to get you in sack. Sorry, I'm just trying to do it to make myself feel happy. Another thing that I always usually get asked, are you a virgin? Do you have sex ever? Do you never have sex? I'm not sexually attractive to people. I'm emotionally attracted to people, and I'm intellectually attracted to people. And occasionally, those attractions can be enough that, yeah, sure, but I'm not sexually attracted to him. That's just one of those standards and stipulations that we generally put on society. It's pretty difficult because, we live in a society where it's so perpetuated in finding your soulmate, especially the American society. To be someone who'd be happy with, having a companion, snuggle, doesn't need the sex of it. And to have that be all that you actually want, and then every person that you do feel emotionally attached to, all they want is to get into your pants. And the moment they do, they leave you to sleep in the car in the middle of November. I really hope he doesn't say this. It's a huge stress, and it's a huge problem, because we're so sexually involved in this society that everything needs to apparently wrap around it. So, do I believe that heterosexism affects asexual individuals? Yes. Do I believe that a sexual culture affects asexual individuals? Yes. What I find most offensive is that people refuse to acknowledge that and get defensive against the notion that it does, where they start verbally attacking, especially in a classroom setting. Thanks for watching.